Hey, what's going on, Victorious family, Victorious Army? How are y'all doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's great to be well. So today's vlog, I want to talk about something a little different but very important to our overall routines or schedules. Once again, I don't really like routine, but some people follow routines. Just put it in. Anyway, about your schedules, right? What it comes down to, what it is you eat. What it is that you put in your face to fuel your body. That part. Right? As you know, or starting to get the idea of, there's a whole lot of changes going on the planet in general, you know. And as it turns out, eating meat isn't necessarily the best way to get your protein or to fuel yourself. I don't know. I didn't know. I did not know that, right? Just like how animals also have emotional bodies as well, right? They have feelings. They feel good, they feel bad, all of these different things, right? And then also, right, intaking meat technically is what? Dead, right? Because no one's necessarily eating a live chicken, right? Or ain't nobody sitting there going over trying to eat a cow while it's alive, right? But you can eat an apple while it's alive. You can eat fruits and vegetables which are living, right? Simplest way to follow, right? Simplest way to kind of get this idea is that the more life you eat, right, the more you are alive, right? The more living things you eat, the more you're alive. The more dead things you eat, technically the more dead you are, right? Regardless if you're walking around doing this or that, right? But then the other way to really look at it is, when you start to eat fruits and vegetables, you feel better. Just in general, you feel better. I say this because I felt better when I started to, eat more fruits, right? Drink smoothies. I love me some smoothies. That's probably one of my go-tos, honestly. Even when it's cold outside or it's hot, I love me some smoothies. 'Cause I enjoy fruit a lot, right? And eating things like kale, right? Your tomatoes, onions, like, all these different vegetables versus like, chicken fingers. You got your burgers, you got your steak, you got your Philly cheese sticks. Ooh wee. Cause me personally, that's just all I ate when I was younger, right? It would either be some burgers, some chicken, some steak, some shrimp, and the list goes on. Fish, all these different things, right? Because, I was under the assumption that, eating these different meats, eating these different animals are the best way for us to get protein and, overall health for our bodies, which turns out to be absolutely false. Wow. Had no idea. Had no idea. But now that I know, right? Now that you know, you must do better, right? Ooh. Because you didn't know before, but, now that you have the knowledge, you must do better. So, I wanted to talk about eating habits, if I didn't already say that. But, eating habits, right? Back to eating vegetables and fruits, right? Because when I tried it, like I said, right, I felt better, Felt better not eating meat. Felt better not, eating chicken fingers, right? So like eating some salad, drinking some smoothies in the morning, right? Eating cashews and plantain chips is something I did, right? I would feel good for the morning. I would feel energized, right? Versus like making sausage and eggs and bacon and hash browns and all these different things, right? I noticed that I felt better when I did that instead. Now don't get me wrong, I'm one who just loved me some food, right? Loved me some burgers, loved me some chicken, right? All of these different things, right? But now that, got more knowledge on these things, now that, realizing that the animals aren't to be eaten at all, really, I had no clue. But, right, So now you know better, you must do better. So the thing with this is, though, one thing I realized we have heavy for all of us is the taste, right? Ooh, that tastes good. Ooh, it tastes so good, right? Cheeseburgers taste so good. Chicken fingers taste so good. French fries taste so good, right? But the thing is, maybe they taste good, but they're not really good for you, right? And I guess with the whole general stigma of like the health foods industry and eating better, like we already kind of knew this, but maybe not to a particular level, right? And the other thing was, right, since we're eating meat and intaking stuff like that, right, we start to intake, whatever that animal's been eating, what it feels as well, right, through the energy, right, and possibly any of the sicknesses it may have had, or any of the things that are just really not good for it. It certainly just won't be good for you, regardless if, sicknesses can't really be transmitted from different species. Regardless, it's like, it's still not going to be a good thing for you, right? But I think the thing that really hit me most with eating habits and eating better was like the feelings of the animal, before it died, right? You have the emotions of the animal before it died, right? So like, let's say, excuse me, you ate a steak, oh, big old beautiful perfectly marbled steak cooked to perfection, right? But then later on, like, you start feeling real weird, not like a sick thing, but more so emotionally, right? More so like things kind of feel out of place, but it's all right, but you're just feeling real antsy for some reason, or you just start to have weird feelings or emotions, or you just get drugged down and feeling for some reason, like all of these different type of things, right? All of these things have to do with what the animal was fed, whether if it was captive, whether it was free caught, and then when it got slaughtered, right? What it felt then, how it was feeling, like all of these different things play vital roles into what happens when you intake the flesh of that animal, right? Along with the parasites and all the other things that are within the animal, like I was saying earlier. And it's just damn. That's all I can say. Just damn. Had no idea things went this badly, right? But so like I was saying, it's time to do better. Time to eat better, right? And then, like, let's not even look at it at this, right? Not just necessarily for the animals, but for yourself, right? Because apparently you can't get the right proteins and nutrients from eating a steak or a chicken or some shrimp and fish, though they taste good, right? Ooh boy, they taste good. But it turns out you're not necessarily eating the flesh, because the flesh doesn't necessarily taste good. It's the seasoning on it, right? It's how the steak is seasoned and prepared rather than the steak itself. See where I'm going with that? So I mean, we got to learn how to start changing your palate, really changing things around. So for me, since I was a heavy meat eater, not as much anymore, but I'm not gonna lie, I still get me some burgers in every once in a while, but I'm choosing to change the way I eat. I'm choosing to change what I put in my mouth, right? So instead of, absorbing the karma of that animal, right, the energies of it, the sickness it may have had, anything else that could go in there that's probably not good for you, right? You should start to switch over to karmaless foods. Shout out to Ralph Smart for telling me things about that. Right, so anything like your fruits and your vegetables, right, nuts, grasses even, herbs, right, all of these things are the best things for us to eat. Which is wild, I just never really thought about this type of stuff. But, I'm just grateful I have the knowledge now So now that I can do better for myself, right? Because another thing, right, with all of these different sicknesses that people seem to have, all of these different sicknesses that people seem to have, right, can be cured. They can be through intaking herbs, right? Because I believe it's in the Bible. It says the herbs are for the healing of the masses, right? The intakes of the herbs, like your sea moss, your bladderwrack, your burdock root, all of the other ones, right? I'm just getting into it myself, really, starting to really focus into learning about these things more, right? But all of these different herbs and vegetables are also can coordinate with the body, right? I give you an example of just a couple little things I heard. Know what I'm saying? Made me sound all smarticle and stuff. Right, like a red pepper, right? A red pepper, which, since it's red, right, coordinates with the root chakra, which is also red, which also helps in circulation of the body, right? And then, like, see if I remember another one. Bananas, right, which are yellow, which coordinate to the solar plexus. They do solar plexus things. But truthfully be told, right, there's a whole lot more that goes into eating better and eating the vegetables and eating properly. Because it's not really just about being a vegan or a vegetarian, right? Because I heard, like, vegans just simply don't eat meat, which, what's that left you with? You got your Twinkies, you got your Ho-Hos, you got your honey buns, right? You got your French fries, all of these other different things, potato chips, right, that aren't necessarily the best for you, even though technically you're not eating meat, right? So it's more about becoming, I would say, more plant-based. That seems to be the best thing for me. Like, I mean, give or take, like, a title you put on it, vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, like, it doesn't necessarily matter, but the idea is for you to eat more properly for your body, right? Because, like, all of these things have to do with, like, purity of your blood, your circulation, your overall feeling, your awareness, your attentiveness, access to your mind, right? All of these different things have vital roles to play in doing better for yourself, right? In helping you to truly feel better. So, with all of that type of stuff being said for right now, right? The best thing to do is just simply start incorporating more things, right? Because I can't necessarily say I'm fully off of meat, like, oh, I'm just so pure and all of you have to do this. And nah, I mean, I still put down some burgers. I do every once in a while, right? But it's just time to do better, right? Because I forget the exact number, but for last year's Thanksgiving that occurred, right? I think it was in the millions of how many turkeys were slaughtered in order for people to have a Thanksgiving. Millions of turkeys died last year for people to have a Thanksgiving. That's crazy. I never even knew that. To be honest, I didn't even know that there were millions of turkeys. Right? Stuff you just don't know, right? And then, like, another one that's probably going to be really scary is just how many chickens are killed each year. That's a scary number, I'm pretty sure, right? But then, the other thing with chicken, right? Chickens are very fearful creatures. I guess very angry too, right? Because, like, you become what you eat. You literally are what you eat, because your body builds its cells off of the things you eat. So if you want to be putting down burgers, you a burger. You a burger. Right? If hot dogs are your thing, you a hot dog. You a pizza. But I mean, it's just the truth as for what it is. And since, right, like I said, like, since I have the knowledge to now know to eat better, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose to incorporate better foods, better drinks, right? Drew a blank there, but like better drinks, like, you know, instead of drinking so heavily on your Gatorades and Propels and Powerades and things, right? I'm choosing to drink more water, you know, trying to, I think I'm gonna get into juicing more, you know, making some fruit juices or some green juices, some veggie juices, you know, things like that, you know, to incorporate it. But one thing I will say, just do not just try to jump straight into it. Like, don't just try to immediately cut off everything else and just go forward. You can't necessarily do that. I mean, you can, but you can't necessarily do that and succeed properly, right? Because after a while of eating so much, right, your body is now used to, you know, intaking meat. You know, that's because that's what you've been doing for years or for a great amount of time, right? So now it's not necessarily about you just blank switching, right? Which I guess would be the best thing to do initially, right? But it's more so about now weaning yourself off of it, right? Weaning yourself off of meat. Because when you do that, it becomes an easier transition, you know? You just want to eat it less. You'll start to eat it less. And, you know, overall, the effect, you'll feel better and eventually just be off the stuff, right? Ain't got to worry about it. Just be off the stuff, ain't got to worry. So like I said, like the best thing to do is just start incorporating it, right? Like for breakfast, instead of eating, you know, I don't know, 4 pieces of bacon, right? Like limit it down to 2, right? Or if you're an egg eater, like I am, I love me some eggs, right? You know, I will cook about 3 eggs. But that's just me, right? You know, start just weaning down, start lessening it. And instead of, you know, just not eating the same amount of stuff, right? You know, start to eat more of something different, right? So like, you know, like instead of 4 strips of bacon, like I said, 2 strips of bacon. Instead of 2 eggs, like 1 egg. Or 3 eggs, 2 eggs, right? And then, you know, try to incorporate a smoothie. Try to incorporate eating some fresh fruit. You know, little things, right? Slowly start to encroach on the amount of meat you eat with the amount of vegetables you eat or amount of fruit you eat, right? And interestingly enough, right, I'm kind of a snacker, right? Because I'm not necessarily ready to eat full-blown meals all the time, right? Maybe sometimes it's just, ooh, man, I want to eat me some food. But, you know, some of the time, snacks are a good idea, right? So, like, if I'm feeling, I guess, kind of peckish or hungry, maybe eat a couple of cashews or some peanuts and different things. But the idea is, like, really just start to become more knowledgeable on certain things like this, right? Start eating from a perspective of nutrition rather than just taste. It's going to take some time, you know. Don't just outrightly, you know, swap over, right? Because that won't necessarily work with the greatest success. But just start incorporating it, you know. Start eating more fruits and vegetables rather than meat, right? And like for lunch, right? You know, maybe a little bit of chicken, right? But try to intake your amount of salad, right? Try to largen the amount of vegetables you eat, you know, for lunch and for dinner, right? And then the best way I really heard we should all be eating is raw. Yep, raw foods. You know, like I said, you got your veggies, right? Eating them raw. No cooking, raw. But for me, honestly, I I start with fruits first as far as eating raw, right? Because certain vegetables, I don't know if I can handle that raw, right? Like, I don't know if I could eat a red pepper just straight up raw. It's like, ooh, ugh. Right? Because that was one thing I did notice about like eating certain vegetables, like at my, I guess maximum time of like just eating meat, right? Not to say that I was one who was on an all meat diet. Ugh, that never sounded good to me. But as far as like thinking about eating healthy, and sometimes like I almost thought of vegetables as nasty. It was weird, but truly, you got to start somewhere. Because, it just ain't right, Just ain't right to eat that much meat and eat that much flesh. So, once you know better, you got to do better. And a little hard for me to say this part, but recently I just lost my auntie because as people of us melanated people, right, we have very bad eating habits, and eating the way we do, right, we eat decadent, right, just decadent, savory, lots of it, baby. But I mean, simply by making better choices to eat will truly be beneficial, especially in the long run. Because the idea is to build yourself up so you can last as long as possible. Because a lot of the older people I've been around and I've spoken to, I've heard about one thing in common: take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, right? And me as a young man, at first when I started hearing, I was like, man, he's just old, right? Kinda, right? But the more I started listening to them, right, the more I started researching and gaining more knowledge on things, right, it starts to really make sense. And I would rather know this now and, work on it now rather than wait till later, when it's about too late, right? And, you're not in very great shape when you're older. You just feel like crap and it's just hard to do anything, right? The idea is to build yourself up so that you can have a greater and longer lifespan and more mobility out your body. So, that's about it, right? I guess as far as some herbs to start looking into, your sea moss, your bladderwrack, these type of things. Sea moss has, I believe, 90 to 108, whereas 108 is the maximum amount of nutrients you need or minerals you need. I think it has about 90 something, 80 to 90 something minerals and nutrients that the body needs just on a daily basis, And then once you start learning more about herbs, you start to get more and have more of a nutritional lifestyle utilizing herbs as well as the vegetables, right? And even things like black seed oil is another good one that heals most to all ailments, apparently. I don't know, allegedly. But that, and then even stuff as far as intaking gold. That's right, I said that. Gold. Intaking gold and silver, right? These are the forms of money, right? Of actual money, not currency. Money, gold and silver, right? Yes, you intake those into your body as well. Maybe not sit there and just eat a whole silver coin or something. No. No. Probably not the best way, but things like colloidal silver, things like gold water, These are some great things to start to look into. I'm still on my journey. I'm on my path to getting better and doing better. So, as far as me, like I said, I'm just choosing to intake more vegetables and fruits, and then, after losing my auntie to truthfully bad eating habits, maybe a couple other things, but for the most part bad eating habits because of the way we eat, right? It's just truly time to do better, Not to end on a sad note, because things can get better. You just must take care of yourself. Do it before it's too late. Because too late is not the position you want to be in. Not at all. Too late is not it. So all you can do is just get on it now. Take small steps, but get there, That's pretty much all I have. And as always, lead yourself to your greatest victory. And peace and love. Peace and love and healthy eating. Alright, y'all. Peace.